hemorrhoid ointment, applicator shaped just like a finger, so you could just use it anytime. So these are all the wonderful gifts. Okay, so that's one of the good news. I tell you, and I'm not done. This one Victor's going to like. Former NFL great Herschel Walker is now winning mixed martial arts. Former football players now. Have you ever watched mixed martial arts? You know what it is?
No.
I don't really watch it either, Vic. It's a bunch of guys. They always look kind of like skinhead nuts or something. Even the black guys. And they do like some of a martial art. They usually are kicking each other, in the nuts and stuff. So Herschel Walker is doing good at that, right?
All right. Yeah. I'll say this. I don't care what you say. When you're next door to the AARP club, I don't care how physically in shape you are. He ain't gonna make it.
He already whipped 2 people's ass.
And whipped
as old as he is.
Yeah, but which people did he whoop? His cousin? Somebody what?
Somebody's ass is whipped by. He's like 50 years old.
Thank you. And they can put him in there with anybody of that. They're going to ramp him up because it's a story to follow. Nobody's looking to put money in it on a belt title. So you know how it goes. But he's in unbelievable condition. So, Mar, you're right. I do like the story. But give up. AARP is waiting for you.
Well, okay, now let me tell you this next story, you guys. I thought this was kind of interesting now. Check this out, you guys. First of all, there's this big thing about the box office, all right? So this weekend, I'm reading this stuff. I'm reading this news. They go, ooh, the weekend box office was so wonderful. The weekend box office, the big movie at the box office was The Right.
Yeah.
The Right. Anthony Hopkins' The Right was the big movie at the box office, okay? And they go, wow, The Right, it was really doing great. Where's my... I want to tell you how much it made. It made like $15 million, okay?
On just one day or weekend opening?
Okay, here they go. Here you go. Right. See, I got to have my visual aids. Okay. According to Hollywood.com, we want, first of all, it's good news segments. First of all, let's give congratulations. Congratulations. To Sir Anthony Hopkins. Congratulations, Sir Anthony Hopkins, for The Right. Okay, because it was the high. The picture did $15 million.
Wow.
Over the weekend, and they wanted to say, "Wow, wonderful." The film was thrashed by the critics, who said it was basically shit. But we like Anthony Hopkins, so Natalie Portman was number 2 with $13.7 million, with her No Strings Attached. Not her Black Swan, but of her No Strings Attached. Now, so of course I read this, you guys, but someone said this really seems kind of sneaky to me, the story. So then I called out our investigative reporting team. I went, investigative reporting team, investigative, get drunk. They're all drunk.
Vic.
So I gave up. I gave up on the investigative reporting team, Michelle. I gave up because it seemed fishy to me that the media, this conspiracy of a liberal media, that they would report that The Right had made $15 million like it was great. So you guys, they've been talking about how Hollywood's doing bad, right?
Right.
I went and did a little search to find out what was the top weekends around, right?
Right.
Because this week, the top weekend box office was $15 million for The Right, $13.7 million for No Strings Attached, $11.5 million for The Green Hornet, and $11.5 again for The Mechanic. And The King's Speech, Oscar nominee, $11.1 million. So I went and looked. I said, first of all, what is the top weekends for all time? Well, the top opening weekend for all time was The Dark Knight with $158 million.
Woo.
Wow. So when they talk about, remember I told you that the story was that whatever your top movies today wouldn't have even made the top 10 as recently as 10 years ago? That's your example.
Yeah.
So your top weekend this weekend, remember I read you, The Right was $15 million, No Strings Attached, $13.7. But the top, and I'll read the top 10 weekends. The Dark Knight, $158 million. Spider-Man 3, $151 million. The Twilight Saga, $142 million. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, $136 million. So, obviously, The Right...
I ain't doing too well. Man, 11 million. What's that? That's like $2.
I'm just saying, you guys, that's what I'm saying. So, if you go look... So, I printed out opening weekends, right? This is according, again, to... You can go search it. This is boxofficemojo.com. You can do the search. I printed out the top opening weekends and all the way down till number 107. Number 107 was King Kong at 50 million.
Wow.
So you can see when we say that today's top weekend grosses don't rank,
They don't rank.
they don't rank.
No.
So what
No, they don't.
where's that?
It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah. But the studios are not going to never complain about it. They're going to keep telling you it's number one, right?
Well, that's because we think, well, part of it we say is choice, you guys. We think
Right.
that people are going other places and getting different choices.
Now, was that good news or bad news?
I'm making it good, damn it.
That was like mediocre.
All right, how about this one, you
She needs to
guys?
come
Not
back.
so mano.
All right, how
Thank
about this
you.
one, you guys? How about this one? They got a new Barbie makeover thing because they decided that the world was not the same. You know, in the old days, you know, the good guys wore the white hats, bad guys wore the black hats. They didn't even have no black guys around there to make it confusing. So nowadays they have all these things that are changing, and one of the things that's changed is that they're trying to bring Barbie back. And you know, with all this controversy over gay rights, you know, and all this, and first of all, there was the whole issue with whether or not
What does Barbie have to do with
because
gay rights?
Ken was not anatomically correct,
No, I know. She'd fall over by the weight of her boobs.
and that's
and
right.
The size of her ankles. It
Well,
was
see,
something.
that was part of it. See, and the whole thing about that. So, and people they were worried about Barbie. They were worried about Barbie.
I actually wasn't allowed to play with Barbie as a kid.
Why not?
Okay, so my mom, she's kind of extreme sometimes. And she thought that if I didn't grow up to look exactly like Barbie, you know, with the curves, I'd commit suicide.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay. Barbie, wait a minute. Barbie did
Wonderful insight by your mom,
that.
looking to protect her child.
I wasn't allowed. I got a Barbie for Christmas when I was like 4, and she gave it to charity or something. I don't know, but I didn't get to keep it.
Okay.
Well, so see, this is what I'm saying.
I played with My Little Pony, you know, where they didn't have boobs or waist
That's another.
sizes.
What is it with women and ponies? By the way, that's another show. Women and ponies. They always play with them.
I just want to know,
Okay.
did she sneak out and meet with Ken, you know, like, you know, after midnight, you know, go play with Ken?
Actually, I would go over to my cousin Tristina's house, and she had Barbies, and we always had the most ridiculous party play sessions. We'd have, like, Ken and Barbie, and they'd have, like, an illegitimate child, and she'd have to, like, deal with it, you know, and then Ken was, like, fooling around with, you know, Rebecca or whoever. And this is, like, when we were 8. My cousin was sick. She was sick.
Where are they today?
She's in Austin, Texas.
Wait a minute. Does your mom know this story?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Well,
she now.
She will now.
Yeah.
She will, because it's coming back because all this is ongoing Barbie controversy, and so for Valentine's
She's
Day.
a seedy little blonde.
See, that's right. Well, they want to get it back to the good old days,
Right.
So the idea is to have a new campaign for Valentine's Day, and it's called "Ken Wants to Win Back Barbie."
They broke up?
So he's taking extends tabs to make sure he can be ready to get Barbie back.
Wait a minute. She asked, did they break up?
I don't know.
How come you didn't answer her question?
Because I wasn't aware, you know, Ken, the whore that he is,
He's the male.
and Barbie's with that
Barbie.
chronic yeast infection. You know, I don't know what they're doing.
And remember, you guys, we're still on good news right now, right?
This is the good news.
I don't get it.
I didn't know that they broke up. Because
Well,
if
they
he's
did.
trying to get her back, then obviously
Well-
he fucked up in one way or another.
You know, Ken kind of got a little bit of that boy-on-boy action.
You know what?
Barbie caught
You're
him.
wrong.
Okay,
Plastic to
so
plastic.
that's where the gay rights come
That's
in.
where the gay rights
Yeah.
come in. 'Cause-
Okay.
so, all right, so that was the good news.
Ken is gay now, everyone.
Ken always was gay. G.I. Joe knew that.
Yeah, he did.
Because the Kung Fu grip wasn't there for nothing, baby. That's right, I'm telling you. That's why they had that Kung Fu grip.
I can't believe this.
Well, here's the bad news, you guys, that we got to deal with for you guys. And it's true. It's true. There's a bunch of terrible, terrible news going on. And the news has to do with the civil unrest in Egypt. For those of you who don't know, those of you who live in caves, those of you who live in Malibu, there's been a lot of problems going on in Egypt. They've had uprisings. It's been going on for over a week now.
Yeah.
Big time issues. They actually went and shut down internet access to the public. And so ongoing, you've had reports coming out of Egypt about civil unrest, all trying to get President Hosni Mubarak to resign. Now, without getting into a big history, he's been in power for 30-some years, an ally of the U.S. One could question, certainly, some of the tactics used in Egypt, certainly not the most forthcoming society. You know, it's places where you can get locked up and put away. Police is known to be fairly brutal. Yes. Also, a lot of economic problems. But remember, this has also been a U.S. ally. And part of the whole issue has been, how do we deal with it when we have these U.S. allies? Especially he's been a friend of Israel, too, for the most part. And people say he's cooperated with almost every U.S. effort in the region. Well, now the people who are sick of him and his corrupt rule have been essentially in the streets nonstop, demanding his resignation. He appointed a vice president.
That's wrong.
He's just been see, I goes like, you can just do whatever you kind of want. So everybody's getting mad at this. They say, Mr. President, we want you to resign. So his first move, he said, well, I'm going to appoint a vice president. Okay. Well, that is understandably, even for those of us who don't follow politics, we can guess. Did not go over well, probably.
No.
Probably didn't.
No.
So it didn't go over well. And then he's appointed a bunch of other people, but meanwhile the people are still out there saying, Mr. Mubarak, leave. Okay, and so it's really winding into a sort of a more of a confrontation. Meanwhile, the U.S., Hillary Clinton came on, and she basically, the U.S. is in a strange position, you know, because on the surface, you know, we support a lot of freedom movements, but of course, underneath the table, we support a lot of corrupt administrations.
No.
Around the world.
No.
That is shocking.
I'm you know
I'm
what?
shocked
I'm you know
right
That's
what?
why people
Not
are
from this
shocked. Yeah, they are.
Not this country. We're above that. You know that, don't you?
Well,
You
so
know
it
that.
goes. So
Okay.
it goes. So the big thing that we want to talk about today is what has been going on to help the Egyptian people. Was it turns out the internet community has come forward crazy, you guys, crazy and fast. For example, let me tell you what's been happening.
Yeah, they've bounced back real quickly. So that all that internet being shut down, Mario, only lasted a day or two.
Well, that's because, let me just give, I had to go do a review myself, and I went and looked online to see what was there.
Facebook's upset about it.
Oh, you know Facebook. And they locked all of that out because they were using Facebook and Twitter to spread the information. Man, see, it happened so immediately. This also happened in Iran, if you remember, with the recent, protests, those things that went on. Well, anyway, one of the articles I looked at had to do with We Rebuild. There's a site called WeRebuild.uk, and what their slogan is, when countries block, we evolve. And so they're one of the organizations that came out to help get people in Egypt back online. As it turns out, and I quote them, there are basically 3 ways of getting information out right now. The newer ISP network, which is about 8% of the market, or else you have to use a landline to call someone, or else you have to use dial-up internet. All over the world, people are sending dial-up modems to Egypt.
Wow.
And people are using dial-up connections to connect and get information out. Also, phones. People are sending phones. So what's really amazing is how the community has responded to this. And I want to give our props to the internet community because, again, this is a movement of the people. And it seems that when the people decide to stand up, that other people around the world get involved. And we just want to congratulate the internet community for coming forth and being part of that.
I got to ask you a question, man.
Yes, sir.
And it deals with the number 82.
Yes.
At